Hi folks, some time ago I promised a review on the Triumph Tiger 800 XRT, comparing it to the Yamaha Tracer 900 GT. I own a Yamaha Tracer 900 GT 2018, bought 6 months old back in October 2018, done quite a few miles on it. My wife in October 2019 got her dream bike, which is the Triumph Tiger 800. Lovely looking machine in the sort of matte blue finish. Very nice looking. Unfortunately, we stay in Scotland, and since October I think she's managed to ride it 3-4 times. Once on a sort of run with me, fairly long run, 100 and odd miles, but mostly she's just used it to go backwards and forwards to either the dealer or work. She's not unfortunately been lucky enough to get much riding in. I'm obviously very lucky having a wife who rides motorcycles as well, so I took advantage and borrowed her bike. I did a quick review the other day, but unfortunately my normal camera's up the spout. I used my phone and I turned it to landscape, but unfortunately the video sort of saved it sideways and it's not very pleasant to watch. So no sort of live footage of on the bike, unfortunately. The Tiger 800 XRT, it's a 2019 model. Last of the Tiger 800s before they go to the Tiger 900, which is a completely new model, although a lot of stuff does obviously carry over some of the characteristics. The 800 makes 94 brake horsepower, so straight away it's given about 20 brake horsepower away to the Yamaha Tracer 900 GT. The seating position on the 800 is very comfortable. It's a sort of bike you could tour probably all day long on, not an issue. Great fun that way. I personally just find the bike a bit bland, a bit unexciting, to be perfectly honest. Sort of going up through the gearbox is beautifully slick and smooth. Sort of 1000 to 4000 RPM, the bike is quite energetic. 4 to 6 has a sort of little burst, but over sort of 6000 it's quite flat, I found, which made it quite unexciting. So my first impressions weren't great. The suspension I didn't find that wonderful on it, considering it's pretty decent quality shocks all round. I just didn't gel with the bike that well. It's nice enough, it's competent enough, but it's just sort of uninspiring. But that was a quick review. I then had the task of taking the bike to the Scottish Motorcycle Show this weekend. So I had the chance to use it on the motorway. Again, screen's quite good. The cruise control, all the sort of functions, all the toys. It's an XRT, so it's top of the range, 12 and a bit £1,000, almost 13 I believe. But it's got all your toys, cruise control, heated grips, heated seats, front and rear, both independently controlled. Backlit controls on your handlebars for your lights, etc. Comes with auxiliary lights, LED headlights, tail lights, indicators, multi-position seat. Towards the end of 2019, Triumph were offering the side panniers with the bike, which obviously increased the sort of value of the machine. They were pretty good. So yes, motorway, it can sort of cover mileages very easily. It's quite economical. around about 60 miles to the gallon. It's very smooth, not as smooth as the 1200. I was a bit disappointed. It felt slightly rough compared to the 1200 Tiger, which I road tested myself last year. But good all-round machine. Great. The Metzler Tourns tyres seem to be quite good, quite skinny compared to what I'm used to, but the bike seemed to handle fine. My wife's bike's been lowered, so the geometry is maybe not perfect compared to the standard XRT. Ideally should have got an XRX low, but Triumph literally had run out of them and we couldn't source any. So she had to go for an XRT, which she lowered. Sorry, that's my dog in the background. So anyway, the handling's maybe slightly compromised, but I think generally I don't think the bike would handle much better had it not been lowered. So after I went to the bike show to pick her bike up at the weekend, I had to go to work. I was night shift, so the following morning I was going home very tired after a 12-hour night shift, and it was sort of quite low temperature and pretty wet, extremely wet actually. So rider modes, I'm not 100% sure on the rider modes, but I engaged rain mode simply because it was really wet and quite low temperatures, as I said, and to be honest it felt strangled. The bike, it certainly would keep you safe, but it felt like it had at least half the power, and it doesn't feel like a powerful bike. It's not slow. 95 brake horsepower, 94 brake horsepower is more than enough for most people, but it's not a sports bike. It's certainly not a sports bike. To me it's quite unengaging, but when you engage rain mode it's really unengaging. It feels like a 125 power wise, although obviously it's not. It's probably still making 60, 70, 80 brake horsepower, but it just feels so strangled. It's horrible to ride in rain mode, but will totally stop you from high siding, low siding or anything else. So yeah, in comparison, if you're in the market for one of these, the Tracer 900 GT is very engaging to ride. The CP3 engine in the Yamaha is just so joyful. It feels a bit rougher. The bike wants to go. You want to ride it. You want that bike to go. It can potter about quite happily as well. But it's always there. It's Jekyll and Hyde. You know, you can drive about like Dr. Jekyll and be nice as ninepence. You know, nobody would look at you twice, but in the background that machine just wants to go. If you do, it's more than eager, more than willing. I watched the documentary the other morning, and it's down to the Yamaha company using Kendo, which is basically that the machine has to move you physically and emotionally, and the Yamaha certainly does that, and I just didn't find the Triumph did. Obviously the 900 GT Yamaha comes with things like cruise control, heated grips. I prefer the Yamaha heated grips in use. However, the Triumph heated grips are actually much easier to use. The Yamaha menu system is pretty fiddly, especially with gloves on. Far too fiddly, to be perfectly honest. The Triumph sort of dash, once you get used to the little toggle button, is actually very easy to use. It would take a wee while, I think, to get used to it. I kept indicating trying to use the toggle button because I got the indicators and the toggle button mixed up, but that would be something you'd get over time. And again, at night, if you were riding at night or in poor weather conditions or low light conditions, the Triumph's switchgear is backlit, so you can see what you're doing, whereas on the Yamaha it's total muscle memory. So the Triumph scores there. I'd say the Triumph scores well above the Yamaha levels of equipment, but it is maybe at least £1,000 more expensive. So you could perhaps expect it to be better equipment wise. So I think it just depends whether you're if you enjoy motorcycling and just sort of taking it easy and covering huge distances and are quite happy at being a relaxed rider and you just want to get from A to B, then the Triumph Tiger would be well worth considering. If you like to do the same but also like to do a little bit of scratching, back road, fun, I've got to say you have to have a shot in the Yamaha. Whether it's the GT or just the Tracer 900, you have to have a shot. The CP3 engine in the Yamaha is just unbelievable. It's got to go down as one of the best engines ever made. And that's maybe the difference is I've always felt that a triple had something missing. So I never really fancied a triple cylinder car, motorcycle or whatever. And I didn't really want to ride the Yamaha. When I bought my first Tracer in 2015, didn't really want it because I thought it's not a 4 and it's not a twin, it's in between, it's going to be strange. And I rode the Tracer 900, I rode the MT-09 as well, and I loved them. It's the best engine ever. Had I ridden the Triumph Tiger 800 at the time, or even the 2019 model back in 2015, I wouldn't have bought a triple. The Tiger 800 being a triple engine, apart from the slightly distinctive exhaust note, it just doesn't engage me, whereas the Yamaha triple engine really does. Strangely enough, the Triumph Tiger exhaust sounds amazing, sounds very menacing, and again that's maybe part of the issue is when you actually wind on the throttle on the Tiger, it makes a lot of noise but not a lot seems to happen, whereas the Yamaha, it doesn't sound horrendous with the standard can on it, or standard exhaust, sorry, but the engine moves you, and although the exhaust note's quite nice, it's nowhere near as good as the Triumph Tiger's exhaust. The Triumph Tiger's exhaust, even with a standard can, it sounds amazing. So as I say, the Tiger, technology wise, or gizmo wise, gadget wise, is better. You get your LED lights all round, quite lovely LED lights, and very bright at night LED lights, very good LED lights. You get self-cancelling indicators, you get your auxiliary lights, you get your switch gear that's backlit, you get heated grips, you get rider modes, you get heated seats front and rear, you get a nice LCD dash. And one thing I do like about the Tiger is where the ignition switch is located. And also, unlike most bikes I've ever ridden or owned, when you put the steering lock on, you literally just turn the steering round and turn the key. There's none of this push down to lock. And again, when you're unlocking, you just, the exact opposite, you put the key in, you turn the key, and that's the steering lock off. That's a nice touch. Another nice touch is where the sort of key is located for the seats, to take the seats off. In the Tiger, it's basically just under the tail light, right in the middle of the bike, easy to find, easy to keep lubricated in bad weather. The Yamaha is sort of on the left hand side, sort of up and under, and sometimes when you've got helmet and gloves on, it can be difficult to find it and difficult to get into it. Both bikes are seat height adjustable, The Yamaha, obviously, you can get comfort seats. Believe you can get heated seats, but not from Yamaha themselves. But Triumph, you get all that as standard with XRT. Obviously, Triumph have now brought out the new 900 Tiger, doing away with the 800. So that'll be quite interesting. Watching Lamb Chops rides this morning, doing a very early review on one. It sounds like it's got more bottom end than the current 800 Tiger, but it sounds like it's the same, that's not got that top end rush. And again, going back to the Yamaha CP3 engine, you've got the lovely sort of balance between the twin and the 4-cylinder. You've got a lot of bottom end torque, you've got a lot of mid range, but you also have a good rush of top end power. And the one thing that I've never thought I would say is the Tracer GT comes standard with an up quick shifter. It's not an auto blitzer, so you've still got to use the clutch on the way down. But the Triumph, possibly because you're changing gear quicker, because there's no point revving it above, so it revs to 10,000, but literally there's no point going above 8,000 because it's just flat. And I missed not having a quick shifter on the Triumph more than I do on the Yamaha. Although the Yamaha has that surge of top end power, I could live without a quick shifter on the Yamaha, but I'm looking for it more on the Tiger. So anyway, hopefully we're coming into spring soon, and hopefully the weather's going to start getting nicer, and myself and my wife will be out on our respective bikes, hopefully telling you more about them as we find out about them. But yeah, please, if you fancy a Tiger 800, then obviously it'll possibly be a second hand one. I don't think there's any left now in the UK as new stock, but certainly the most recent incarnation is a highly recommended bike. But don't rule out what some people might think is a lesser brand, the Yamaha, because it certainly isn't. It's not. I've also sort of ACF 50'd my wife's bike, and I've used XCP through All Year Round Biker Scotland to do a comparison. Again, on the quality finish of the bikes, although I'm not saying we're running them through the winter, we are using them through the winter. We're not using them every day, but there will be times when the bike's out and potentially it's going to be having some salt on it, and it may not get rinsed off perfectly straight away. So we'll do a review on that maybe come the spring, once we take the XCP on the Yamaha off and the ACF 50 off on the Tiger, and see how they've both compared for quality finish, because Triumph is certainly going for the premium sort of end of the market, whereas Yamaha is certainly not a budget brand, but £1,000 for 20 brake horsepower more, you've got to say the Yamaha, to me, offers certainly a look in the better value front. So yes, spring's coming. If you fancy an 800 XCA, XRT, or whatever the XRs that you fancy, there's obviously various specs, etc. Get to a dealer, get road testing, see what you think, make up your own mind. But if you're in the market for a Tiger 800, I would say also definitely add to your list a Yamaha Tracer. Have a go on them, see what you think. Get out there, ride your motorcycles when you can. Thanks very much for listening.